All right, guys, what's going on? Ladies, fellas, everybody out there, we are here to talk about some night baseball. Hopefully your day slate is off to a wonderful start. Tim Anderson with the big home run just a few moments ago, so hopefully you guys got him in your lineup. If you didn't, well, hey, you can still do all right.
Sure can.
So we got Coors Field in play tonight, and it's going to be chalky. We'll get into that here momentarily, but we're expecting big-time chalk on this one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got Cincy, who's been good for people going against Chichi Gonzalez. It looks like a spot that's going to be very popular.
Definitely is, guys. So get in over with our friends at Drafters. We haven't run it yesterday, but we play most days over at Drafters with our buddies and a bunch of other guys. We get in there. We usually do a $10 daily draft, and we'd love some of you guys to come play along with us. It's a snake draft, like an old school fantasy football draft where the website will generate the first pick for you or the order of the draft, and then you just kind of go with what they give you on the day. We'll usually set our own little rules for how many positions we want to have at each, depending on how many players are in there. Looking to expand the player pool to include some of you wonderful listeners. Sign up to play. If you want to use our promo code, it is DFS 5-pack. But even if you don't, just come in here and play with us. Friend request us. We got a link to a Facebook group below where we post new drafts and stuff like that. It's a blast. We love you guys to come take our money and have fun at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to put my reigning title on the line when we get one, hopefully in about an hour here.
Next up, you guys, weekly and monthly memberships available through the website. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. So let's talk about pitching. And we went through this one with detail on the members only video. There's a lot of options today. Nobody that we feel like super A-plus confident. This is not Garrett Cole last night or anything like that. But the place that we landed was Zach Plesac. And if you're looking for good vibes, right as I clicked his name to put him in here, Dan Plesac came on the old YouTube machine talking about the Brewers game. So I'm feeling even better about it. But more importantly, he's been better in 5 straight starts. Seattle's a high K-rate team. They're a below-average offense in a solid pitching park. There's a lot to like right here.
Yeah, a lot to like here. He's priced very affordably. He's a good pitcher. He's had a couple rough starts this year, but all in all, he's a solid, I would say SP2, solid B pitcher. We give out these letter grades. I would call him a solid B guy. And he's in a good spot against a Seattle team that strikes out a lot. It's not going to shock the world if Seattle hits him a little bit, but that's true for everyone on this slate. And at this price point, he just works. Nice look in all formats.
You got plenty of cheap pitchers at your disposal today too, so you can kind of do whatever you want. If you want to spend all the way up to the kid from Houston or anything like that, go do your thing. You can compliment him with a cheap SP2. But we like Plesac all in all, dollar per dollar is probably our safest play. Don't you think so? Like the guy that I feel the most confident in for both upside but also being safe?
For sure, yeah, agree with that wholeheartedly.
All right, let's keep moving along. So you saw today's cover, boy. The Moose is loose. He broke loose the last 3 days with 2 3-hit games. I think that's what it was. At least 2 multi-hit games over the past 3, including going yard yesterday in Pittsburgh. Moustakas is better than his year numbers tell you that he is. We know this guy is, he's like a 260 hitter. Good for 30 to 35 home runs if he plays the full year. Starting to get going. Now he's in Coors Field tonight against Chichi Gonzalez. So let's just, let's call it like it is. He is not respected within the industry, and, well, quite frankly, he probably doesn't deserve to be respected within the industry. The Reds, most importantly, and why we want to talk about, we're only going to pick one Red to talk about, but the whole team is going to be crazy, insane, crazy chalk today. And Moustakas is one of the guys we feel better about.
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's hard not to take a long look at the Reds here. Moustakas, I know, is a guy that we've been a fan of. I know you were a big fan when he was in Milwaukee. He's good. He's no reason he should be like one of the cheaper guys tonight from the Reds. I mean, you can make an argument he should be the most expensive. He looks like a cog in the cash game machine. And if you're stacking the Reds, I mean, you definitely want him in tournaments.
Yeah, this is the kind of night that, for me, if you're going to plant your flag on Cincinnati, it's a cash game kind of a night. Unless you've got some little angle, whether it's from the starting pitchers or your one-offs outside of that you want to be different on, because they're going to be so insanely high owned. However, if you got an interesting angle,
yeah,
I mean, it's not crazy for any baseball team to only score a couple runs or not really score at all. I mean, I know Cincy's probably better than Chichi Gonzalez, but they are going to be so crazy chalk today. The idea of just being different in GPPs, if you got a spot that you like, I mean, I'm definitely interested in the idea of finding a different way to go with it, but I might just actually play cash game more aggressively than normal.
I get both sides of it for sure.
All right, next up, let's talk about Jesus Aguilar. Man, he would look good in Milwaukee uniform right now. This guy's on fire right now. 3 straight games with a home run. I think he's got 5 extra base hits over these 3 games. Batting .291 with an OPS just under 1,000 this year. 9 home runs. He looks real good right now. And I have to assume, especially like with Moustakas being eligible at the same position at about the same price, Aguilar will go way under the radar tonight.
Yeah, if the Reds weren't on this slate, you have to think he might be popular because he's so hot right now. People like to pick on Merrill Kelly, but just not on this slate. With Coors, with other good spots, Miami's going to get lost in the shuffle. And not that I want to sell my soul on the Marlins, but I like Aguilar a lot. He's just seeing the ball really well, crushing this Diamondbacks pitching staff. Has 5 extra base hits in the first couple of games of this series. He is just locked in and going to be very low owned. Like him a lot as a tournament one-off.
Yeah, or play Moose at third and get Aguilar into your GPP lineup or your cash game lineup or anything.
Yeah, amen to that.
All right, so we haven't brought up Kyle Tucker in hours now, so we figured why wouldn't we bring him into the rotation today? So there's a couple of things to like right here. One, first and foremost, dude is really, really cheap at only $3,500. He's going to be a positive influence on your salary cap no matter who you use at pitcher today. 2, he's on fire right now. You mentioned it repeatedly throughout the early portion of the season. He was right up there as one of baseball's leading candidates for the most bad luck being hit into. Now it's all coming to fruition. He just took the simple approach to this one, right? Just start hitting the ball over the fence. That way you can't run into bad luck. We know he's going to be popular, so he's a good cash game look. Houston looks to be like a secondary popular team after the Reds. We also know that even though we like Mike Foltynewicz, he's still rounding back into the all-star form that he was from a couple years ago and is very prone to power from left-handed hitters.
Yeah, listen, Tucker is just locked in right now. We talked about it earlier in the year that he was hitting the ball hard, just at people, a lot of hard and loud outs that were expected to be hits. Now he's getting those hits, and he's still really cheap. Houston, is in a good spot against Folty. Gives up lefty power. He runs. A lot to like here in all formats.
Yeah, exactly. He's got upside for GPPs. He's got popularity for cash games, and he's just on fire, which works for any format.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about Chuckles Blackman today. So the big question, and basically I know what you've tasked yourself with this afternoon, is trying to get a better feel about how popular Luis Castillo is going to be. We looked at one big name website, one that has a lot of influence over the DFS industry, and it has Castillo being very, very chalky today because he's so cheap. And despite not being good this year, Castillo's got a big name within the industry. However, I think you and I remain unconvinced that seems right. Like I do struggle to see Castillo being as popular as it's being projected to be on that site.
Yeah, I don't see it. That said, he's so cheap and he's such a big name. I mean, it's one I'm a little bit torn on. And again, I think the closer we get to lock, the more that we'll know, the more I'll know. Just real quick, I just want to make sure his name's not actually Chuckles, right?
Yes, I do know his name is not actually Chuckles.
Just because, I'm making a joke off that comment we got. But
I got you.
So, I mean, listen, I think the Rockies stack is in play regardless, but the more ownership that Castillo gets, the more I like the Rockies and vice versa. So I do think Colorado, as the projections are now, is going to be lower owned than they're projected if the Castillo ownership, stays as it is. I'm a little bit torn there, but again, I like the Rocky stack a ton if Castillo is going to be chalky.
So one spot that we sometimes disagree on things. There's a lot of times where you like to go after a pitcher solely because he's popular, it's a little bit of leverage, whereas I oftentimes just end up like abstaining from that. So it's not a complete disagreement, but there are days. I'm kind of with you today on this one, though, because the more popular Castillo is, the more interested I am in the Rockies. And let's just call it like it is. We're both Castillo fans, but he's showing legit almost no buying signs this year. One thing that's really, really got me off of him more than anything, it's not just the runs that he's giving up, which are on the high end. He's given up or not getting a lot of strikeouts. He's a strikeout pitcher, not striking guys out. That seems like a really big problem to me.
Yeah, he's like not getting any swings and misses, even more in depth than that. Like, it's a problem for sure.
Yeah, when guys who strike out, I don't know what he is for his career, but I'd venture to guess he's 10, 11 Ks per nine.
something like that, I would guess as well.
Okay, like, and I don't know what he is this year, maybe 7?
Yeah, it's a pretty drastic drop. Something's up.
Yeah, that's a big drop. And I don't know if it's velocity, lack of movement, can't locate, but it's not right. Now, we also firmly agree, we still believe in him as a baseball player and that it will turn eventually. But he hasn't given us any reason to believe that's tonight. It could be, but we don't see any reason why it's just going to turn that corner all of a sudden tonight. So I do like the idea of the Rockies, and whether it's Blackman or any of the other decent players they have on their team, and it's not a long list. If you tell me Castillo is chalk, I really like the Rockies then.
Yeah, the only hope for Castillo, I feel like, is that one good start that we're holding on to still.
Yeah, that was Pittsburgh, start 2 of the year. That was like 6 starts ago against arguably the worst offense in baseball.
Yeah, no lies detected there.
They may not be the best DFS matchup in baseball because they don't strike out a lot, but I think Pittsburgh's probably the worst offense.
Yeah, them or Detroit. I mean,
Detroit's pretty bad.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that are bad, but no, I have no arguments with it.
Yeah. Detroit's scoring runs again today, so they're on my good side right now, but they're pretty pathetic all in all.
I know how you feel about Texas also.
Yeah, Texas isn't so good.
I know how you feel about Colorado also.
Colorado at least has one really, really good player in Trevor Story, though.
Yeah.
Like of all those teams, Trevor Story is the best hitter on all those teams.
Agreed.
So, yeah, it's a good conversation. It's intriguing and it's interesting. And it also depends on what lineup they're running out there that day.
For sure. I mean, yeah, it's definitely, as far as like Pittsburgh and Detroit goes, Story's far and away better than anyone on either of their rosters.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But, I don't know. Charlie Blackmon's just one of, I think we wanted to talk about the Rockies more as a whole, but also in regard to specifically Blackmon. Like he hasn't put up monster numbers recently, but one thing to note for him is he's not striking out at all. So he's putting the ball in play in a big field like Colorado. Like, I was already been a couple balls today in the Brewer game, which is substantially harder to get bloop singles in. Like there's just so much room to get hits despite not hitting the ball well. That is a massive park. So the fact that he's putting the ball in play is a good thing.
Yeah, he's another guy that has the metrics say his numbers should be better than they are. So not going to be surprised if a hot streak's coming sooner rather than later.
Amen to that one, guys. All right. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. Click the thumbs up button. Have a great and wonderful Thursday night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.